2018 NFC Divisional Round. The Minnesota Vikings are hosting the New Orleans Saints, and this game is about to produce one of the most unbelievable plays in NFL history. The Vikings are down 24-23. There are just 10 seconds left. Minnesota has no timeouts, and the ball is sitting on their own 39-yard line. At this point, Minnesota doesn't even need a touchdown. They just need enough yardage to get into field goal range. But instead of kicking a field goal to win the game, Case Keenum and Stefon Diggs are about to create one of the most iconic moments the NFL has ever seen. This is the Minneapolis Miracle. Let's slow this down and look at the formation. Keenum is in shotgun, and you've got three receivers lined up to his right: Kyle Rudolph, Jarius Wright, and Stefon Diggs. Adam Thielen is lined up on the opposite side. The play is called 7 Heaven. And here's the important part. This isn't just a random deep pass. The Vikings designed this play to attack the Saints' sideline coverage. Rudolph runs a short out route, Wright runs an intermediate out route, and Diggs runs the deep corner route, the big play route. The idea is basically to flood that side of the field with 3 different levels. The first guys are supposed to give Keenum easier options, while Diggs is the guy who can take the top off the defense. And remember, the Vikings aren't necessarily expecting a touchdown here. They're looking for someone to make a catch and get out of bounds so they can attempt a field goal. Now watch what happens at the snap. The Saints have 7 defenders in coverage and only rush 4. That means Keenum has time, but he also has to wait for these routes to develop. Thielen on the backside is covered, so Keenum doesn't have an easy throw there. The underneath routes aren't giving him what he needs either. And now Keenum looks toward Diggs. This is where the play gets crazy. Diggs is running toward the right sideline, and Keenum puts the ball up high. He's not trying to throw a perfect strike between defenders. He's basically saying, "Stefon, go make a play." And that's exactly what Diggs does. Diggs tracks the ball, goes up, and makes the catch around the Saints' 34-yard line. And this is where you have to pay attention to Marcus Williams. Williams is the last defender who can stop this play. If Williams makes the tackle right here, the game is basically over. Remember, Minnesota has no timeouts. Diggs is actually expecting to get tackled or have to step out of bounds. But Williams comes in low and completely misses. Diggs lands, loses his balance for a split second, puts his hand down to keep himself up, and he stays in bounds. That tiny moment right there is one of the biggest reasons this play became a miracle. Because if Diggs goes down, Minnesota probably has to scramble to kick a field goal. Instead, there's nobody between Diggs and the end zone. And now watch Diggs' reaction. He looks upfield. There's nobody there. So instead of stepping out of bounds, he's going to score. Diggs takes off down the sideline. 5 yards, 10, 15, and there's nobody even close to catching him. The clock hits 0. Touchdown. The Vikings win. 29-24. And US Bank Stadium absolutely erupts. What's crazy is that the original plan wasn't even necessarily for Diggs to score. The Vikings were trying to get into field goal range. But one incredible catch, one missed tackle, and one unbelievable decision by Diggs completely changed the game. So why did this play actually work? First, the Vikings had a smart route combination. Rudolph and Wright were attacking the sideline underneath Diggs, while Diggs was running the deeper route. That forced the Saints defenders to account for multiple levels. Second, Keenum didn't panic. He waited for the routes to develop, took the shot, and put the ball where only Diggs had a chance to make a play. And third, and probably most importantly, Diggs made an unbelievable individual play. He high-pointed the football, stayed in bounds after the catch, kept his balance, and then recognized that he had a clear path to the end zone. The Saints actually had the defensive situation they wanted. They were protecting against the sideline and trying to prevent a big play. But Marcus Williams missed the tackle, and that one mistake turned what should have been a potential field goal setup into a 61-yard walk-off touchdown. That's why the Minneapolis Miracle isn't just remembered as a great catch. It's the perfect combination of preparation, execution, athletic ability, and one unbelievable moment. Case Keenum gave Stefon Diggs a chance. Diggs took that chance and turned it into NFL history.